Everyone, in this video we will look at how JavaScript this keyword works. There's a difference between how this keyword works in other languages and in JavaScript. The main important to remember is you can only use this keyword in a function, and how this keyword will behave depends on how that function is called. We will first have a look at nodejs examples, and then we will move on to Chrome developer console and look at some examples there. So for instance, let's say if I have a variable called name and I assign it a value, and then I have a function. Let me just zoom in the screen a little bit, called say your name, and what I do in this function is simply console output this dot name. Next, I create a couple of objects. So for example, obj1, I create a name field and give it a name Bob, and I create a function called say your name and assign it the value, assign the function that I created outside. And let's create another object and assign a name Charlie and create the same function, or maybe a different function name say name, and assign it the same function on the global level. Now if I say obj1 dot say your name function, and we'll run it and see what the output we get. Node, let me just see where we are, just go in the same directory where the file is, and node index.js. Need to save the file. Bring this panel up. So it's complaining about there was a compilation error because the file was not saved. Now as you can see, let me clear this up. Node index.js, it has printed Bob. So Bob is the name field's value in the obj1, and if I call obj2 dot say name, let's see what it will print now. There's a compilation error, obj2 is not defined. This is a capital O. Correct the syntax, clear the terminal, run the program again, and we can see it has printed Charlie when we call obj2.sayName. Now as you can see, this function is a global function, and we have assigned this function as a field value of two different objects, and logically each time this function was called, Alex should have been printed, because this dot name is referring to the global variable called Alex, but that's not the case. This keyword is behaving differently here, and it depends on how we are calling the function. So when you call a function with an object, this keyword in that function is assigned to that object. So in this case, when we call say your name function on obj1, this keyword will be assigned a value of obj1, which means when you console output this dot name, it will get the value of Bob in it. Similarly, when we called obj2.sayName, Charlie value will be assigned to this dot name because this is assigned to obj2. Let's do something different. if I say obj1 dot call is a generic method that is available on every object in JavaScript. And if I pass it obj2, let's see what output we get. obj1 dot say your name dot call. Sorry, we need to have the function name before the call. So clear the terminal, save the file, and run the program again. Now we can see that we have called say your name on obj1, but we are passing in obj2 to a method called call, which basically assigns this value as obj2. So when you pass obj2, this variable or this keyword will be assigned with it. That's why we see Charlie here in the third output here and not Bob, where the function was actually called. So the most important thing to consider here when you are working with this keyword is how you are calling the function which has got this keyword in it. If the function has an object before it, like you do an object dot function, then this object, this keyword will be assigned with that object that you use to call the function. If you're using a method name and then you're using call, so whatever after that, whatever you put in the call method will be assigned to this keyword. If you're using the function on its own, for example, if you just call say your name, it will just, this will be global variable, which is in nodejs, it is assigned to, the value of this is a variable called global, which is globally available. And if you are running it in browser context, this is the window object. So the value of this keyword is the window object that we have in the browsers. So that's the kind of overall scheme how this keyword is used in JavaScript. Let me zoom out. We can have a look at a few examples in the browser. So this is in the console, we create a variable called name and assign it a value Alex. Ignore this undefined because this is just a return type of that statement because it doesn't return anything. That's why we see undefined there. Now we create a function called say name, and in that function we say console.log this dot name. If I call this function say name, it will say Alex, right? Now if I create an obj1, same thing, name is Bob, and sorry, name is Bob, and say name is another field which is assigned to say name function. Here we can see that this object has got two fields, name is Bob and say name is a function which is defined up here. Similarly, object 2 name Charlie and any function name. So say your name, this is just a field name, so you can assign it, you can name it anything. obj1 dot say name, we get Bob. obj2 dot say your name, we get Charlie, and if we just call say name, we get Alex. So as you can see, this statement in the function doesn't change. It's always this dot name, but the value of this changes depending on how you call the function that is using the keyword this. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.